Hi, I'm Deirdre Paschal. I'm an elementary art teacher, and today we're going to talk about organizing the art room.
Organization actually starts in your head. As we look through my classroom, you can see where I have things located, and I'll discuss how they work with keeping things flowing during classes. The best thing you can do to organize your room is to simply get in there and sit. Give it a good look. See where you want things to go. Determine what's going to be the best for flow of traffic, efficiency of materials placement, and all the little things like line of sight. For example, can you see all of your students when you're in front of the class? Can every student see you easily? Two bulletin boards show what my students are doing. They change out when a new lesson begins. Each bulletin board has the grade level, example artwork, essential questions, and some of the standards that we are hitting in the lesson. Above my youngest class's information is a visual resource, my color family portraits. I try to make my resources be easy to see, thoughtfully designed, removable, and working with my overall color scheme. I do change some of them out on occasion. I use my front table as command central. It's set up with everything I need to navigate a day's classes. It has a sub-binder, a daily binder of information with class lists and lessons, and it has a variety of supplies that I use often. It's way easier to keep the flow going when they're at my fingertips. My seating chart is central on the table. Since I teach 700 of the 850 kids at our school, I refer to my seating charts when I need to know a name fast and have drawn a blank. The longer you teach a group of kids there, the less you need it for names. However, it is set up to help with my own efficiency. The charts are drawn exactly as my classroom is laid out. The tables are in the places they are for the best mobility during classes, both for me to get around to see the artwork and for students to get supplies, clean up, or conference with me. The tables are set up in the order of the color wheel, with 3 of the 4 neutral colors in play if I have a large class. I can use that order for talking about color theory, as it gives me a built-in way to illustrate with the students. Each table is set up with no more than 4 students, and genders are seated diagonally across from one another to cut down on talking and playing. I choose who sits where and have a plan for that as well. At each table, we have a power kid, one who always answers questions right and is really motivated. That makes it so that every table has a chance to win our weekly Art Star, which is a tool that I use for my classroom management. I also sit kids according to who needs a little extra help. I will sit one of my really nurturing students with a kid who struggles, knowing that that student will be encouraging for the ones who have difficulties. I also will put my more rambunctious students with the mildest, as the ones who are chill tend to set a good example for their counterparts. If I have an overabundance of one gender in a class, I use what I know about the kids to set up the tables. If I have a table with 3 boys, for example, I sit a girl who has brothers with them, because she knows how to handle the boy stuff. Likewise, if I have a table full of girls, I'll sit a boy who's confident and can handle them, or who has sisters. I always compliment the student who ends up with more of the opposite sex. He's comfortable with his manhood, or she's got this brother thing down. It makes them feel confident and makes them not mind being stuck at a table with no one else like them. My subfolder has information that gets my sub through the day, who to talk to if something is needed, how to find the bathroom or cafeteria, what duties I have, all of that stuff. My big binder has the specialist schedule, the list of kids who can't be photographed because I put a lot of my work on Instagram, a staff roster, and a pacing charts for all of my classes for the year. This is great because when I'm finishing up something, I can see what I've planned for the next week's classes. You'll notice there are a lot of open weeks. This is because as the year winds down, kids are gone a lot and we get less done because of field trips, testing, and all manner of things that take the students away from specials. My class lists are set up with kids who are in need of something special being highlighted. For example, a student who has a heart condition or one who has a cochlear implant. I also highlight students who are special needs. The whole book has tabs for the various things in it, and my class lists and my lessons have binder clips at different places on the page to let me know what class is on and what lesson we're on. At the end of every day, I update the lesson book to know what point the students are in a lesson, so the next week we're not repeating something because I forgot that this particular class had already done whatever. It helps me to know when we're in need of specific supplies also. At the end of my book is a list of medical alerts. Our clinic is great that they've compiled this for us. In that section, I also have detailed info on kids who have serious issues like diabetes. One organizational point is that I have 2 clocks in my room, one over my door and one on the opposite side of the room so I can see one from anywhere in my classroom. Art classes run on minutes. 5 minutes to open the class, 35 minutes for production, 5 minutes for cleanup, 5 minutes between classes. Figure out where the best place is for each essential piece of equipment and table. My drying rack is out of the line of fire. No tables are right up on it. I keep a cart full of various supplies, especially paper. I always try to cut more than I need so I can put my hands on it if I've not got enough for something I've set up. The paper cutter is right there too, in case I need it in a pinch, but it's not where a student could get hold of it and hurt themselves. Stuff I'm going to need for short term, like printing materials, spray bottles, will be on top of the cart with the paper. I put painting supplies on my back counter underneath the paint shelves, ready for use. The water buckets are always filled and ready. Normally there are enough here for each table to have 2 buckets on them for elbow partners to share. Erasers are numbered and students can check them out. This keeps kids from tearing them up. I can find out who stabbed the eraser because they checked it out and I saw it when it came back. Storage is a big issue for every art teacher. Never say no when someone offers you shelves or bins. I have flat drawers or shelves to hold each grade level's flat work in progress. I also have a bunch of large open shelves that I put sculptures on. 3rd through 5th grade classes have dedicated shelves for each individual class. Another part of being organized is simply having the rules where every student can see them from every part of the classroom. They can never deny they didn't know what the rules were. They're on my supply closet door right next to my table. My office is a no-kids zone. I have a special filing system that no one seems to understand, but notice everything is labeled. I label everything I can in my supply closet too. Like things are grouped together, and I try to make it really clear what is where. Once I figured out the most efficient places for everything, they've not gotten moved except in use. This helps me know where everything is because it doesn't change. This area is known as the store. Like their own personal Blick art supplies, students can take what they like. But like Blick or any other store, if you were to yank everything out and mess up the shelves, they'd ask you to leave. Students who kill the store when they're looking for something are not allowed to use it anymore. You can make your organizational habits become those of your students if you make stuff disappear after they've been misused. It saves you time and setup when students know where to find their work in progress. I have my older students get their flat work out and call them by table to go to whatever central location their peers have put the work. Flat drawers are great, and mine are set up so 4th and 5th grades share. The left side has 4th grade work and the right has 5th. I love flat drawers. Sketchbooks are a requirement in our county, so I keep mine in magazine holders that I get super cheap at IKEA. They're color-coded by grade and also by day of the week. They're high enough that little hands can't reach, but 3rd through 5th graders have no problem. Colored bins with often used supplies wait at the back counter to go on their corresponding tables. Oh hey, label everything including your trash cans. Mine used to get taken every summer and I'd have to go hunt them down. Now I barricade them in my supply closet so I don't have to go look for them when we come back to school. And labels, labels, labels. Make it easy to find stuff. I save the white boxes our copy paper comes in and use them for storage. Labeled, of course. I know I mentioned bins. I love Target's dollar area. I found these for $1 a piece. This is an important shelf. It has my lessons in bins, cheap at Walmart. They are set on the shelves in the order that my classes come in, so I can grab it and put it on my table to get the needed stuff to work with. Inside each bin is the actual lesson, example artwork, and some of the more specific supplies we might need, like the markers you see here, or white crayons or whatever. At the bottom of the shelves are my early finisher containers. They have ideas for kids who get done early, and I don't have an extension project they can do while they wait for the other kids to finish. My round table is set up in the middle of the room as a demonstration and supply table. As often as possible, I get ready for a class in advance. If we paint, it's already on the table with the newspapers at the end ready to go. They are kept folded so that the folds are at the right so I can grab 4 at a time to give students who are from the helper table. It takes about 30 seconds to pass out the newspapers because it makes it easy to grab them so fast. Procedures are the key to getting supplies out fast and cleaned up fast. When we do paint, I have different palettes. If we're using 1 to 3 colors, we use the coffee can lids. Kids can bring them back to the table without any paint slipping off, and then I can transport them to the sink by flipping them on top of each other in a stack, and I have just one clean unit to carry. This cuts down on time to clean up also. Even getting them to the sink is a procedure. If you stack them so they fill each other with water, you can wait a while before you have to clean them. I keep a dish drainer next to the sink so I can have stuff drying and ready for the next time I need it. We use t-shirts for clothing protection, and every student learns how to fold them. If I can grab 4 at a time, I can get them passed out faster. We have a procedure for folding. We call it side bottom. Each kid learns how to do it, and I don't have to worry about inside-out shirts or not being able to know how many I'm picking up. The faster you can get your supplies out, the more time students have for production, and I like the idea that my students are learning how to fold a shirt neatly. Life lessons. Supply shelves are stocked and ready at all times, and the items on them are labeled both with words and pictures. Once I decided where the most efficient places were for supplies, those spots were pretty much forever. From kindergarten to 5th grade, you know where to find the crayons, markers, pencil, and a host of other things. There's also storage space for 3D artwork. I could go on forever about how my room is organized. One piece of advice: when you do find the most efficient place or procedure, try to make it a forever one. Taking the time to plan your class organization will make for a much smoother school year. Organize from the inside out. Figure out your classroom management plan, your behavior expectations, your class atmosphere, your reward systems. For example, my behavior expectation is kind of strict. We have a whisper rule in our class, which keeps people more on task. I play calming music when the students are working. Students can earn an art star for their team if they do the right thing and answer questions correctly and clean up the fastest. The team with the most points at the end of class gets to take the star back to their classroom till next week. This makes for quick cleanup, orderliness within the classroom. It's wonderful. Once you've got all that worked out, get your classroom plans set up, your class lists, your lesson book, and a command central from which you are going to operate. Then design your classroom for the best use of your space and your resources. Mobility, visibility, and ease of finding things will be the more important things you'll need to consider. The more you put into all of your procedures and setup, the more organized you can be.